Destiny. स्टिल बहुत ही कमाल की परफॉर्मेंस दी है, लेकिन यहाँ ओमन वैलोरेंट चैलेंजर्स में आज का जो मुकाबला होने वाला है, दैट विल डिसाइड हु ओरंगुटान फेस। दे आर वेटिंग। फिर से वो $100,000 का जो प्राइज मनी है उस पे भी सबकी निगाहें होंगी। टुडे हैपेंस टू बी अ सुपर संडे, लेकिन ये संडे सुपर से भी ऊपर होने वाला है। सो लेट्स ब्रिंग द टीम्स ऑन स्टेज। फर्स्ट अप इट इज Aster Army. Aster Army, क्या आज ब्रह्मास्त्र मिलेगा इनको, क्योंकि इनका आज मुकाबला गॉड्स रेन के साथ। They have a history, लेकिन अगर Aster Army की बात करें, they've got a direct entry into this upper bracket semi-final because they were that damn good. बहुत सारी फेवरेट्स को इन्होंने हराया एंड यहाँ पहुंचे हैं, एंड बहुत सारे लोगों का मानना है that they are also serious contenders as far as this Omen Valorant challengers are concerned. The split 2 playoffs, here is Aster Army, toppers of their group. लेकिन आज इनका मुकाबला होने वाला है ऐसी टीम के साथ जिनके साथ इनकी एक हिस्ट्री है, और हिस्ट्री जो है एक तरफ ये जीते हैं, एक तरफ ये दूसरी टीम जीती है। They beat Reckoning. So let's bring on stage God's Reign. आज हिस्ट्री नहीं, आज फ्यूचर बनने वाला, आज डेस्टिनी बनने वाली है, क्योंकि गॉड्स रेन इस मुकाबले में आ रहे हैं जीत के साथ, एंड ओरंगुटान की नजरें भी इस पूरे मैचअप पे होंगी, क्योंकि ओरंगुटान उस टीम से भिड़ेगा जो इस मैचअप को जीतेगा। गॉड्स रेन एंड heuristics. Well, there's a cheer and there's an applause for Six today, and there he smiles. But of course, एक प्रेशर है अपर ब्रैकेट के सेमीफाइनल में एक दूसरे से भिड़ने का, स्पेशली जब आपके बीच में इतना सब कुछ हो रखा है। So, everybody wants to hear from the two IGL. So let's bring on Marcel from Aster Army and Tix from God's Reign. Almost feels like a boxing win, लेकिन Marcel, split 1, split 2. बहुत ही अलग परफॉर्मेंस। आप लोगों ने रोस्टर भी बदला, ऐसा लगा कि स्प्लिट 1 में गाड़ी जो है वो गराज से बाहर निकली है, लेकिन अब तेजी पकड़ ली है। हाउ आर यू हैंडलिंग? ओरंगुटान पे फेवरेट्स टैग है, तुम पे फेवरेट्स टैग है, यू टॉप द ग्रुप, हाउ आर यू हैंडलिंग द प्रेशर?
We really don't feel much pressure, because in the end we just remind ourselves that in this whole tournament we hope that the best team represents our region and wins in the Ascension League. So with that in mind, there's not much pressure. Let's just let the best team win.
Okay, let's talk of pressure. You walked in very differently and you had a smile on your face. Clearly, you're not letting the pressure get to you, but they defeated you in the group stage. I mean, is that playing on your head?
Not at all, really. We know the group stages was kind of rough for us. So coming into playoffs, we have a different mindset. We trust the stuff we've done in practice and how we've practiced. And so, yeah, just like the other day, we're going to show you we're a different God's Reign.
यार स्प्लिट 1 की बात करें तो इन लोगों ने तुम्हें एलिमिनेट किया था, ठीक है, लेकिन अब इस मकाम पे आके, इस पड़ाव पे आके अगर तुमने इन्हें हराया तो ये चोट, ये घाव जो है इनको बहुत दिनों तक परेशान करेगा। Is that what you're thinking of?
We already had in split 2, we already played against them once, so उस टाइम पे हम लोग जीत गए। I'll say the first 2 maps were very close, but the third map was in our favor because of the momentum and everything. But yeah, I mean, every time you win, you feel good. Split 1 ka jo bhi ho, it's in the past. Right now, we're just focused on split 2, and if they've improved, they'll win. If we have improved as well, we'll win. So let's see where it goes.
Yeah, every time you guys play, there's a lot of social chatter around Autumn and the way he goes berserk, especially when he's farming. Is that key to success?
Yeah, like I said in the pre-match interview before against Reckoning, I think the energy that we have now is completely different to Split 1. I think we've realized that at the end of the day, this is a game, and keeping energy high and like a good mental is 50% of the battle against a lot of these teams.
यार मर्ज़र एक बात बताओ, क्या तुम्हें लगता है कि ऑटम और टिक्स की वजह से ही इस टीम के ज़्यादा चांसेस जो हैं वो बनते हैं?
I think they bring a lot more value because of their playstyle. But again, Valorant is a team game and it requires everybody to be at their peak to be able to perform. So yes, they do bring value, and similarly, everybody on their team also brings value, and it's how they work together and they blend in together that decides whether or not a team is strong or not. So the same goes for us as well. So depending on, anybody can have a good day, anybody can have a bad day, but it's in the end, it's about how you become a unit. And that's what's important. So yes, they bring value, but I don't think that's the only factor that defines the game.
Tix, look at this team. They're toppers of their group. Are they just plain lucky, or are they just unpredictable?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter about how they went in groups. At the end of the day, it's playoffs. We beat them in playoffs last time, and we're planning to do the exact same this time.
Oh, all right, boys. Thank you, thank you. You can go and join your teammates. Johnny, उसने तो बोल दिया कि भाई ग्रुप मैटर नहीं करता है, प्लेऑफ मैटर करता है. यहाँ हराया तो हमेशा हमेशा के लिए चुभेगा. Back to you guys in the studio.
Well, I mean, he's 100% right. Playoffs is what really matters. And World, we're currently inside the upper brackets, and this is where it's all gonna come down to. If a team loses over here, they will be passed down forward in the lower brackets, and lower brackets is the underground territory. You really do not want to be there, because that's where you will get stung even harder.
Indeed, you will get stung quite hard in the lower bracket, and especially when you have so much to lose, when elimination is at stake, you want to protect yourself to the best of your abilities. I like how the players of Aster Army are just peeking over the shoulders of their teammates, just huddling across and taking a look at their opponents, glancing at them. They're probably discussing something along the lines of, alright, you will counter this particular player in this way, and then he takes a look at Tix. He's like, yeah, okay, that's how you counter Tix. They speak about Autumn, that's how you will trap him. He takes a look at his face. So, you know, the Aster Army players are just visualizing the targets and what they look like physically in order to better have a manifestation of their entire plans. It's quite interesting. Or they could be just nervous. I'm not good at reading body language, which is partially why I ended up in a career like this. But what I am good at reading are map vetoes. Now, as far as I know, Pearl is a strong map. Never mind. I was about to say Pearl is a strong map for Aster Army, so God's Reign ban it instantly. I guess they did their homework. Aster Army ban out Split because they got destroyed 13-3 last time. So we go to Fracture. Okay, I didn't see this one coming.
This is really interesting. That God's Reign banning out Pearl. Now we're finally seeing some target ban scripts, and I'm really happy to see this one. Target bans I'm always a huge fan of, but now that we're going to be kicking things off on Fracture, I don't know how good I'm going to be feeling for this one, because I still remember Aster Army defeated Metal on the map of Fracture, if I'm not wrong. So they are sort of good on this map, but once again, I mean, Metal, their journey inside the tournament wasn't even that long, so nothing can be said just yet. The second map's going to be banned, and once again, Lotus and Heaven are going to be banned as well, and then Decider's going to be played on the map of Ascent. Now, as Grips mentioned, on Split 1, this team, Aster Army, was absolutely flawless on the map of Ascent, or almost flawless on this map. But in Split 2, definitely the journey has been a little shaky. But I would still say that Ascent definitely favors a little bit towards Aster Army. So let's see if this series is going to be a 2-0 or not. The chances of that happening are quite low. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on forward towards the agent select of the first map, Fracture.
Let's go. I mean, to be honest, neither of these teams have played too much Fracture, you know. The only time that we saw God's Reign play against Godlike was on Fracture. That was the only Fracture game that we've seen from them so far. When it comes to Bind, they've played one against Revenant Esports recently, and that is about it. Same goes with Aster Army, right? The only time they've played on Fracture has been against Medal Esports twice. Once in the grand final of the Open Qualifier, which is even before Split 1 began, and then one that we spoke about recently. And on both those maps, the Fracture scoreline was a little shaky for them. So neither of these teams happen to have Fracture as a strong suit. Unless they've prepared something really specific, unless God's Reign have come up with something brand new on this map which they haven't shown us before, then I don't know what to expect.
And Crips, once again, I mean, in the interview that we saw, right, in the pregame segment, Marzel was looking pretty down to earth. He wasn't even being, like, cocky at all. He was just being so nice. And it just felt like, I mean, it also somewhat felt like he didn't really have a lot of confidence moving inside the matchup, but hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we're going to be seeing the confidence Marzel. That's what we like to see. That's what we've been seeing from such a long time. As this time, it's going to be Aster Army instantly just opening the floodgates, trying to flood onto the site. They've somewhat also found the gates to open to the B site. And look at God's Reign instantly just trying to press on what the spots have been left open. But Doxer is there to catch him off guard. And if he's able to get these 2 kills, then this should be it. Aster Army should have the first round in their favor, but no is going to be the answer. But then instant trade is there from a Duke and Marzel.
Oh, but they're all trying to peer out of the defender spawn, and Aster Army are doing a pretty good job of holding it down. The nice presence from the frenzies towards that generator area is actually quite impactful. Now Tix is left to his own devices, and he knows that Aduka is low on HP, but he doesn't know that he's playing alongside with Goli. He's seen Kishi, and that's about it. He's hoping to get it to half. He's brave enough to continue sticking it, somehow staying alive inside the smoke, only to get shot down later on. Clean round from Aster Army. I also like how Aster Army decided to take double up towards the tower region after the plant was down, and then just send one of their players, I believe it was Marzel, with a frenzy towards that gen area. And they knew that they can't all hold the site, they can't all hold tower, right? So they decided to just let Marzel push in over there. And if he dies, it's okay, but at least it will clear up some room, maybe get some information about where God's Reign are coming from. Yeah. Because God's Reign too, given the fact that they were okay with letting Aster Army take the site and then go for a 5-man retake, kind of indicates that they have a lot more presence across the other side. So Aster Army, it was important for them to figure out where the retake will come from.
Guns advantage in the hands of Aster Army, so expected that they're probably going to be winning. For God's Reign, the main key point over here for them is to just put a little bit of dent on the opponent's economy. Doxer's going to hear him approach him. Gets 2, but that's all he's going to get. Instantly, his body's going to drop down to the floor as well. Marzel's holding it out for the Marshal. It's going to be tough to surpass on forward. So that means the Bulldog is not going to be retrievable, and Hoax is trying to pull off some shenanigans on somewhere else on the map.
I wonder if he can get a weapon at least. If he can kill a Duke, take this Guardian away. Would be nice, but that's just wishful thinking. Aster Army keep it clean, lose only 1 player in the process, not too many weapons gone, and they start off on the right note. And given the way that Fracture works, they have the ability to cover a lot of distance as well, so even in the next round, these Spectres and these Bulldogs, they actually have a pretty decent chance of winning against the Phantoms and Vandals that God's Reign possess.
Placing sentry. Placing swarm grenade. Placing alarm bot.
Considering, yeah, as you mentioned, Aster Army, they have the Guardians. They have a Guardian. They've also got a Vandal in the hands. If these guys are able to find some sort of value off the bat, there's a chance this round can be taken away, or at least stolen away from their enemies. God's Reign too, I highly doubt they're just going to be peeking out of their crosshers like that. Hopefully we're not going to be seeing any dry peeks. Side Dreams try to peek out, get some early information. He's going to get back to safety. He does have a flash available.
Aduka too using his boombots and his sattles to clear out any potential Killjoy utility over there. But they'll soon figure out that all the KJ util that Vibor has is actually towards the A site. Now, I am very surprised to see that God's Reign aren't actually pushing out. They're not playing aggro anywhere, and this just makes them in a position where they can only rely on their crossfires. But with Zai getting picked off towards the B site, what do God's Reign do? Now it's a imminent A hit, and Aster Army are about to flood inside, both from arcade as well as main. The cover of smokes lets them even get into the sites and plant safely without taking damage.
Yeah, Marzel, once again, looking to find someone else. He's already tasted blood. He doesn't really have a lot of HP, and he will fall down to Doxer in the close quarters. We'll try to keep his position anonymous as Duke got a great shot onto his opponents with that Guardian. Even though the opponents had a huge gun disadvantage, still it seems like Aster Army are somehow able to get this round in their hands too, and yes, they do cleanly as well, with 2 players alive. Oh man, none of us expected this coming in. I mean, I did think that there was a chance if the Guardians and the Vandals were able to strike in and get some value, and I think so that's what exactly happened, but even Marshall started hitting.
Exactly right. Aster Army walk into the round with just 1 Vandal in hand, and they walk out with 2. And then they have enough money to buy everything else as well. Plus, the Rolling Thunder is available on Kohli already. So that is actually quite nice. Although I am surprised, you know, God's Reign, I didn't see them pick up any aggro fights towards A main or B main. I mean, they sent a little bit of breach utility towards A main. They sent the fault line through, but there was no follow-up on the back of it. At least nothing that made too much sense. And they were just holding on the site itself very passively. Even now, take a look at what they're doing, right? You have Vibhor marking tower, and he doesn't have too much utility, so he's only placed like 1 turret on top of the box near fridge or something. Plus, there's 4 people stacking on the B side, and it's only Sai who's holding outside of A. And I say outside because he's closer to its defender spawn than the site itself. Yeah. So, yeah, these are some really, really passive setups from God Reign.
I mean, that's what God's Reign is, right? They like to play safe. If you remember, the last time we saw them, same stuff. A really passive team. They take their time, not just on the defense, even on the attack.
Yeah, but
now,
you can't have that on Fracture, can you?
I mean, you can't, but that's just God's Reign. Can't really do anything about it. But yeah, God's Reign for now, they're at least moving out. They've realized the fact that they've also lost the side, so they need to make a quick return onto the opposite side. They've got some Sheriffs and some Stingers in the hands, but I highly doubt anything can be done. Unless somehow if they're able to somehow get some kills in their hands and spring back in the action. They've got a decent amount of utility kit available too. They can try to get some kills behalf of that. And already for Aster Army, the shots are going to start to click in as Hishi and Aduka, both these guys are going to start to line up their opponents. Hoax will at least able to get 1, but I highly doubt he's going to be able to get anything else.
And that's what happens when you play too passively. You're just basically waiting for reactions. Aster Army get their lay of the land. And since Aster Army are also taking their sweet time, right? They're spreading out, they try to poke and prod, gather information, see how God's Reign react. I mean, all it takes is just 1 nade from Aduka to bait out a sound cue or clear out one of the more common positions where God's Reign are holding. And based on that, you gather information. You figure out whether there's 2 or 3 people on the site, and if you see more than 3, you head over to towards the other area, and you just get that plant for free. I mean, so far, Aster Army haven't even faced any resistance. Hopefully this time, it will be different. I can see Autumn lining up for a op shot. He even has the fault line available from his teammate to go ahead and peek that. But
oh my God,
all of that is not going to be of any use because there is no action over there. In fact, the action is happening towards Underground, where Tix is getting shot in the face with a Rolling Thunder. All that for 1 kill? Seems like a bit of too much. Seems too much. But then Tix manages to get a burn kill onto Aduka posthumously. And that's just funny. Uh-oh. So many people burning alive.
Marzel, that orbital strike, the timing was perfect. Side, no other option than to fall back and just gets burnt alive. Once again, Marzel's able to get another man down. This man is on fire so far inside this round. God's Reign, though, with only 2 players up and alive. Hoax and Autumn, these guys need to save it out. Operator cannot be passed on to any players from Aster Army just yet. And this is what I was about to say. Sai and even Tix, these 2 guys decided to push out all the way from Arcade. And they left the A side completely open. This was an open invitation for Aster Army to come on and take over the A side, and they did so. This is where the problems really start to rise because, oh man, Kishi was unfortunately on the opposite side. His setup was on the B site.
That is true. And that creates quite a lot of problems for them. Oh, they won't even let them save the op. Poor Autumn, he's getting pressured from everywhere. He's getting all the kills, and that's nice, but now that the round's over, if he dies after this, not only will he lose the op, but also get a saving penalty. Okay, he survives it, so the op's alive, and Tix has the orbital strike once again. So, this round could have been a lot worse for God's Reign, to be honest. They take this tactical timeout, and I hope they will start playing a little more aggressively this time around. I mean, there was a little bit of aggression. It was mistimed, but you can see the patterns, right? You saw Kishi. I'm not sorry. Sorry, not Kishi. You had the op trying to peek out of the door area. At the same time, the double push came out, as you pointed out, from Arcade. And it was quite a good sign of success from Aster. Although I was a bit concerned, you know, when they tried to shoot down ticks with a Rolling Thunder. Just one whole ultimate for a single kill. It seemed like a bit too much. And the funnier part was he managed to burn Aduka somehow. I guess what happened over there was Aduka got stunned by his own teammate's Rolling Thunder, and then he just landed in the fire, unable to escape because he was stunned. Oh yeah, that was quite a funny exchange of frags.
I mean, so far, God's Reign, though, as you mentioned, yeah, the proactivity is sort of missing from them. They really need to start being proactive, need to make some quick rotations. There's still the operator in the hands of Autumn with a light armor. Gubora as well with a stinger and light armor. Once again, the economy trap is what God's Reign has found themselves in. They need to be aggressive, at least on some sort of the map, at least on some part of the map. And you can see Doxer and Kishi. These two guys are holding the main areas. They're going to be breaching it from the A main side, and then the rest of the players from the dish. Good timing on the smoke from Marzel, but it's really not going to start. It's really not going to stop the flow of Aster soon enough as soon as they start hitting the side, and that's what happens. Aduka gets 2 kills right off the bat. Hoax able to return back to favor, but the Nightfall is going to give everyone's position away, and now the defenders will need to fall back no matter what. 5-0 being the scoreline. Aster with guns in their hands, looking to find every single player that's going to stand in front of them, but this operator, as soon as it's going to swing back to action, as soon as it's going to swing back to life, problems will keep on clicking in. A good kill from Doxer is going to make sure that he's putting a little bit of leash on the players of God's Reign. God's Reign now rerouting themselves towards the A main side. They know exactly where the attackers are positioned in the post plant. But now, as Kishi's able to shut down Autumn too, it's all down to the last man alive, Hoax.
Well,
No charges.
I didn't expect Fate to say that word, but Aster, they are really running away with the lead over here.
Can I get a drop?
And God's Reign, yeah, they did try some experiments, but it didn't work again. Although you can probably accredit this loss to the fact that they did not have the weaponry. Maybe if they tried something similar once again, they would find some success. But now that Aster have seen this, I think they will also change up their approach, right? I mean, Aster so far had been taking their sweet time. But given the loadout that they have right now and the fact that they have a lockdown, I think they will most likely try to make a contact play. Never mind, it won't be much of a contact when God's Reign pick up the fight themselves. Intercepting them early on, Autumn with a double kill on the back of Sai's flash. They get it done perfectly.
They've been trying to pull that play off for such a long time, pushing in towards Arcade, and finally they find themselves some opponents to take care of, and Autumn was able to single-handedly shut down both the players in the front line. Size way too low. Man soften up a bit too much. One bullet should seal the deal, and Autumn single-handedly also gets a 4K. Looking to get the 5th man down as well. But no, it's going to be denied.
Sheesh. Hero plays from Autumn. But it wasn't just his heroics, right? He was getting quite a lot of help from Sai as well. The early flash towards Arcade. And this is something that he's been trying since quite some time, like you pointed out. Even like 2 rounds ago, Autumn and Sai both pushed towards Arcade, leaving the rest of the B side empty. And that created a lot of problems. But this time that they faced all these Aster members, they're able to get quite a lot of kills. Plus, the retreat also was perfect. As Aster tries to follow up, Autumn gets 2 more in the process. And then Tix reveals himself from tower. Great holds. This time Aster brute forcing their way towards Sands, but as I say brute force, all of them are just handing towards A main right now. They're waiting for the kills and Marzel delivers them all. Sai, trapped in a cube of his own making, now has to fight on multiple ends and he can't hold on to Sands. Aduka is just a bit too strong. Pain shells landing underneath Vibor's feet and he's already taken too much damage.
Oh, Kishi, I thought he had a sleeping hand, I'm not gonna lie. He reacted so late there.
I also thought that maybe Vibor will see him and shoot Kishi first, but these angles, man, they can be very, very precarious.
considering the timing on the flash too from Kohli was perfect.
Yeah.
As soon as the two players from God's Reign try to make sure that the opponents aren't going to be met with resistance, then they just get a breach flash on their faces. Can't do much when you're blinded. And yeah, 2 free kills for God's Reign, I guess. Right now, Autumn trying to take a little bit of aggressive note against the opponents. He's got the Blade Storm popped up as well, and we talk about being aggression, and every time now God's Reign are trying to push away from some sort of the maps. They're always trying to push out, and I like this. The adjustments that's coming in from the side of God's Reign after that tactical timeout. Oh, whiffs all the blades. Not a good news.
Hey, but it's not the Blade Storm that I'm worried about. It's to the rest of his teammates. Since he's fallen back, it's all up to Tix, and he does take 2 down, so that's amazing. But he hasn't found the spike yet. They don't see the spike, they just picked up the fight. Little do they know that A-side is already under assault. Oh my goodness, that is such brilliant shooting from Kishi. Clears up the path for his team, but now that they figured out where Sai and Autumn are, the rest of Aster Army will take the zip lines and take their sweet time as well.
Zip lines always make me anxious. You never know if you're going to meet the opponent or not on the other end. But yeah, Aster Army, they're on their way towards the side where Kishi sort of found a little bit of opening towards the A. They know that Sai is going to be on the main side because his position was revealed early enough, and Aster Army really trying to bring in a little bit of anonymous nature inside this play. Some unpredictability. Considering the fact that the breach also has a decent amount of utility kit left over, so that's going to be a good news. Autumn does not shoot at all, so it does not give his position away, and Autumn has an element of surprise that he strikes with, and Sai to close it off.
Finally, God's Reign showing signs of life. The proactivity really helping them out. It was a quad for previous round by pushing out of Arcade. This time, a massive brawl down towards B main. Oh wait, so they did have the spike under control. My bad. My bad. I assumed they did not have the spike, so this is quite nice.
One enemy remaining.
But even after all of that, Aster Army was somehow able to recover the spike. That itself is a big deal. But I guess that's God's Reign taking a tactical call, right? They decide to let them have control once again, not overextend, and just take back positions. Fast one from Aster Army this time. Orbital strike committed already to clear out any people who might be falling back, but instead it just slows them down instead. Autumn prepared. There's a triple stack from God's Reign towards Arcade, and this can be a bit difficult to deal with unless there's a Rolling Thunder in play, which doesn't hit anyone, but at least it pushes God's Reign back far enough to let Aster Army sneak inside and flood the site. Alduka playing dangerous games, pushing down to the smokes. They expect this, and he's dead instantly. Even Kohli, trapped underneath, he's just trying to keep himself alive by bombarding utility.
Kohli in the close quarter gets dealt with too. A 3-on-5 situation. Now orbital strike available in the hands of Tix, and he instantly pours it onto the enemies. Main now is at least going to be cleared up for a couple of Vile, but you talk about that, and you've got also a lockdown on your way. Marzel, a perfect Molotov, gets rid of Tix as well. A 3-on-4 scenario, sort of pullable as well. Autumn trying to get against the opponent, straight up pushing up to their faces. Lockdown goes off. There is one detention. But Sai will maybe be able to get away from this explosion, and yes, he probably will be able to do so. No.
What a chaotic round. Both the teams just throwing in absolutely everything. And I like how God's Reign gave up a little bit of area to make sure they have the man advantage. They got 2 early kills. It was an instant 5v3 for God's Reign. And sure, they let Aster Army into the site. They let them get the plant down. But as long as they got the kills, the retake on paper should have been much, much simpler. But then the lockdown came through from Kishi, and that changed everything. It really put God's Reign on a little bit of a timer, something that they can't adapt to. Aster Army, despite losing members, somehow survived that one. So that's actually quite nice. That shows that they are adaptive enough, and they know what their win conditions are. This time the win condition is to obliterate their opponents, and Alduka does so, but at the cost of his own life.
Yeah. It's completely fine. They've at least got the site control in the hand. Look at Babor. Ooh, this could have been really close. Marshall could have been dealt with in that scenario. Autumn and Hoax pushing together. The last 2 players, the last glimmer of hope alive. But I don't think so. The players of Aster Army got any clues that they're going to be pushing up from the main area. Autumn's the only man with a Vandal in the hand. He's able to pull off some incredible moments too. So you can never underestimate any player at what point, at any time whatsoever. Dash primed. Autumn looking to steal at least one kill away. Like a thief in the night. Gets spotted by the Haunt as well. Now Autumn will need to fall back. He's in quite a bad spot, to be honest. But he still goes for the fight. Still tries his best to challenge that one. As Hoax is going to be the last one up.
9 for Aster Army already, with the potential to make it double digits.
Last round in the half.
God's Reign, they have just enough money to scrape by. They will make some compromises. They'll purchase light shields and maybe a little bit of utility will be missing, but they can muster up weapons. And that's the thing, right? God's Reign, because they've lost so many rounds in a row, they're just basically surviving on max loss bonus, which means they will always be lacking some of the other utility. Hoax doesn't have his Aftershock, he has only one flash. Vibhor, yeah, he's got at least all his nanoswarms and everything present, but then again, Tix doesn't have a molly, so there will always be some compromises that God's Reign will have to make in order to afford the weapons. At least they keep the AWP in the hands of Autumn, so that's one win condition activated for them. And he's marking Arcade, which, by the way, is not going to see any presence at all. Kishi's holding Arcade on the back of his alarm bot, and he might try to make a late lurk while the rest of his teammates are knocking on the doors of B main.
Yeah, good move from God's Reign, though. I like this one. Trying to push up towards the A main, trying to get at least some sort of control on the map as early as possible, as much as possible. Tix is going to get a little bit too much up close and personal. He's able to get one. Now the operator has to come for rescue. A good ultimate as well. The Rolling Thunder is going to push everyone in the back. Nicely done, nicely done so far. But look at Kishi. This man's able to find a little bit of wiggle room for himself and able to get all the way back to the defender spawn. He's going to have such a huge element of surprise.
That's not a little wiggle room, that's a lot of wiggle room. And yeah, the shots were a little iffy at start, but Kishi's managed to create so much pressure. Now Autumn will be in a lot of trouble. His op otherwise could have been a big deterrent, but now that he's dealt with Kishi, he can focus on surviving over here. At first, he would have been in trouble having to look both ways, but now that he's only needing to look in one direction, he can actually kick a lot of ass, and he's already doing so. It's Autumn. He is the win condition for God's Reign. He's the one who gets them so many rounds.
Switching sides.
A 4K once again, ladies and gentlemen, and 9-3 half in the favor of Aster Army. It's all going to come down to the pistol round in the second half, ladies and gentlemen. What a way to kick things off for Aster Army, but later on it seemed like God's Reign were able to sort of make some sort of semblance for them on this map, and they started hitting back the players of Aster Army. But we still don't exactly know what the outcome's going to be like in the second half.
Yeah, it was a bit iffy, right? And God's Reign, some of these players are just not showing up. Vibhor doesn't have a single kill in this entire half. Sai has only 2. And I know that kills don't win you games, but at some point you will have to start dishing out some punishment. That's the only way to mount a comeback in the second half. It is a 9-3, people call it the cursed scoreline, but you guys can have a blessing if you scan this QR code, and you can stand a chance to win the Philips One Blade. Stay tuned, we'll be back with the second half after this short break.
Bro, fridge meat के लिए, heat के लिए नहीं. Bro, this graphics card is making my frames drop. Come with me if you wanna game.
The all-new Omen 16 with advanced Tempest cooling technology, now with 5 heat pipes and 4 thermal outlets. The Omen 16 with 12th Gen Intel Core i7 processor to make you forget your frame drops.
Now that's cool.
Game on with Tempest cooling.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z. Or should I say, the Gen Next. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly to it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I Nico cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Here for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Welcome back to the second half, ladies and gentlemen. The 9-3 scoreline. Will the curse come true? If you're a Godsreen fan, you're of course hoping that the curse will come true. But hey, you can never know what's going to happen. It's all going to come down to this pistol round. If Godsreen do end up winning this pistol round, they do stand a chance to win this map. But if they lose out on that, that means the chances of them winning out this map, it's going to get even more thinner.
Extremely thin. Probably laser thin. Let's see if they can somehow tear through all of this. Sneaking into arcade. Not anymore, actually. They've made quite some noise. Fault line also going to its tower, and now the dashing comes from Autumn. She's ready to intercept this, bursting him down with the classic. Oh, and another blind kill onto Vibhor. Now, that's just unlucky from Vibhor, man. He hasn't been able to get a single frag this entire game, and that's just unfortunate. And just like that, Godsreen take control of the B site, but they lose quite a lot of their members in the process. And even Tix has got one foot in the grave. This can be a very iffy retake for them. Sai has to create a kill right now. He has to create an opportunity, but Kishi gets everybody. This man and his classic right click. It's just incredible.
Indeed it is. Aduka trying to get up close and personal nose. Both the players are stunned. And Aster Army, they close it off for this style. Kishi with the 4K to end things out as well. As you mentioned, Vibhor not able to open his account just yet. It really just hurts my mind. It really just hurts me in general, considering what sort of a player Vibhor is. And so far, he isn't really able to find any sort of kills. Hopefully, though, in the upcoming rounds, he will be able to do so because, as I said, if Aster Army is able to win this pistol round, the chances of Godsreen winning this map will be even more thinner, and now they are thinner than ever before.
Look at this. Oh my god. Vibhor literally just got unlucky this time. I can't even blame him for this death, you know? He was so far away. Kishi, he burst with the classic at that range, by the way. The right click isn't supposed to be that accurate at that range. It's not supposed to be as lethal. He didn't even see Vibhor, man. He just randomly ate his bullet. Ah, that's just unfortunate, man. I mean, I really can't blame Vibhor this time around, but fault line, good enough. But Aduka sends a pain shell back, which means he can get Vibhor again. My goodness. How unlucky can a person be?
Vibhor not really having the time of his life so far. And look at the rest of the team of Godsreen. They're just straight up breaching out of that spot. They've also made a force fight come true. So far, at least they're able to find a lot of kills. And they're able to open the floodgates too. It's all going to come down to this duel. Marshall gets both of them. Not a good news. Now it's a one-on-one scenario. Side Dreams is soften up a little bit. Not a lot of HP to come on true. And yeah, Kishi to close it off. 11-3, ladies and gentlemen. This map seems completely one-sided.
And Kishi survived with 1 HP. Can you imagine that? Godsreen tried to go for a very desperate force buy. Keep in mind, they're not the kind of team that does that. Godsreen almost never force buys, but now that they're feeling the pressure on their own map pick, they picked up the Spectres, they picked up everything possible. And they almost won the round as well, man. Kishi was such a cheeky little demon, cheeky little bugger in the pistol round. Got so many kills without even seeing his enemies. And this time too, he survives with 1 HP. So yeah, Aster Army are able to just steal these wins away, man. Cheese victories. And Godsreen now feeling a lot of pressure. The Spectres and the Stingers come through once again. But they're hesitating to enter towers. They know for a fact there's going to be at least one player up there. But they will be mistaken. After showing early presence, Aster Army have relinquished the B-side entirely. They're instead playing from Generator and Canteen.
This is an attacking-sided map. Considering Godsreen have still went for a force buy, they've got no other choice. They at least need that one single round to break that momentum. And now Aster Army, they've got their hands on the better weaponry too. They've also played on the bonus. You cannot exactly call this one a bonus though. Most of the players have invested every single penny that they have left over. So yeah, for even Aster Army, this round's going to matter quite a lot. But Marzel's not going to miss his shots at all. Autumn taken care of. And now that Autumn's lost for Godsreen, that's a big entry taken away, but they still do manage to get the site control. The floodgates are open. The spike will be planted as well.
Spike planted.
This is where problems might just start knocking the doors of Aster Army. All the 5 players are up and live. They've also got the man advantage on their side. Kohli from the back lines trying to play with a little bit of minds of their opponents, making sure that they're also going to be thinking of Arcade. As Hoax in the main, he will get backstabbed.
Oh, Kohli with the zip line comes through to flank, but now that he's been dealt with, all of Godsreen must focus on the entrances of the generator, and Aster Army have already flooded inside. Jesus, man. Godsreen tried to focus on the extremities a bit more. They were correct in trying to double up towards B main, but they tried to take control of Arcade as well, assuming that Aster Army will retake from there too, and they were sorely mistaken. All that Aster Army did was just send their breach towards B main. That's all. The rest of them came in from Canteen and Generator. And because they had smoked off the Arcade entrances, they just floodgate into the side without having to clear all these areas. Like, Aster Army literally ignores certain parts of the map in the retake, and you can see it in Mandalek's laugh. He knows that he cut corners, he knows that Aster Army did not clear out everything, but that's the thing, they didn't need to.
Man, Vandaluk's having the time of his life, huh? I've never seen him laugh this hard before, ever. 12-3 on the score. And considering we know that this was the map pick of Godsreen, they're getting absolutely demolished on their own map pick. We think that RI fractures the map, fractures an attacker-sided map, but yeah, Godsreen not able to establish a single thing, even on the attacking side. And now their economy isn't even going to be that good, that strong. For Aster Army, they're going to have the better weaponry in the hand. So yeah, this seems like a date with destiny. 12-3, the first map, a good way to destroy your opponents, I guess. Light armors in the hands of Godsreen. Most of the players are playing on the light armors. On the other hand, if you talk about Aster Army, they've got a decent weaponry. 3 Phantoms on the board for themselves. It's not bad. Decent amount of utility kits available too. They've got the losers bonus building up. So that's why they were able to buy this entire stuff. But yeah, now as Autumn looking to find the first one at least, trying to take the first contact. What a way to shut down a player. Doxer gets absolutely deleted. Orbital Strike utilized as well to deny that entire control onto main. So now Godsreen will need to fall back.
Yeah, but they were okay falling back. They never intended on taking that area in the first place. They only wanted to get that opening pick, and now that Doxer is gone, they will continue pressing onwards. And Godsreen aren't the kind of team to commit very early on anyway, right? So they're still exploring. Take control of Underground. Probably want to get Tix into a position where he can gather information. If they can hear some footsteps from this place around near Underground, they will definitely send the Orbital Strike to the right place as well. And so far, the B crunch seems in progress. Is she criminal once again holding the site? And they've also got Marzel to assist them. So Marzel will just lay down smokes, hoping to buy some time for the rotate to arrive. And the rotate is coming in. Kohli's on his way, but Marzel will die in the meantime. And Kishi gets stunned to oblivion. Godsreen are systematically clearing out the site, and it's working for them.
Spike planted.
Yeah, so far the rounds once again fall into the favor of Godsreen. Nicely done. A quick burst on the site, surprising anyone that's over there. And yeah, Duka and Kohli will now need to go for a save or maybe some exit frags. Duka's actually going to try to save that judge. Interesting. I really wonder what they're going to try to do. But yeah, one thing teams got to keep in mind when you're going to have a massive scoreline building up.
Right here.
Complacency sometimes can get to you. That means you start perhaps peeking the angles that you're not supposed to, and sometimes, yeah, the game can be thrown away. But I highly doubt that's going to be the case over here. 12-3, all they need is one more round. Yeah, it should be in their bag.
And they do it all without using Tix's ultimate or without losing weapons. Flawless round for Godsreen. They need this. They need rounds like these. They don't just need to string rounds together and like hope to win so many rounds in a row to mount the comeback, but they also need all these rounds to be super flawless. They need to keep their money alive.
I've actually never seen a 0 on a scoreboard like for this long.
Yeah, I mean,
in a tournament.
Yeah, I was raising concerns about Vibor's performance in the first half, but then you saw what happened to him in the first 3 rounds. Man just got unlucky. So yeah, hopefully this little streak of bad luck breaks in the second map.
Bot coming back.
We're still getting some good information. He knows that they pushed up from arcade. So I'm giving a bit information too to his teammates. Nicely done, Sai. First kill inside this round on the board. So able to catch one of the players off guard. Aster Army really trying to be a little bit overeager. They're trying their best to be proactive, but they're also starting to lose out the bodies that they're not supposed to. Once again, the man advantage given away in the hands of Godsreen. This should be a free flow, considering we all know it is an attacker-sided map. All you're going to need is a quick burst and a little bit of more anonymous aura in the air, and that should do the trick.
Oh.
I've got your trail.
They're just oscillating between A main and B main for now. Seekers. Because multiple of them go towards the B side, they start heading A. And it is a fair establishment. It's 2-2 setup. Both the Aster Army players just waiting on the other side of that spoken arcade. They were just hoping that somebody will get caught in the seas. And it's Vipor once again. He gets caught and burned alive. I'm just telling you, man, this is the most unlucky game he's had in a very long time.
Dude, but like, that just hurts my soul, man. I understand it's unlucky, but if you're gonna get unlucky that many times, then you really gotta question yourself at that point. But yeah, the judge is gonna come into action. Sai is gonna meet his maker. 2-on-3 scenario though. Still Aster Army so far able to make sure that this entire situation is not gonna fall in the court of their opponents. Autumn and Tix, the last two players alive. These imports really want to get this round secured, and they do. Perfectly done. Bladestorm and even an orbital strike is now available on Godsreen's side. So yeah, nicely done. But look at their opponents. They've got a lockdown. They've also got a showstopper and a rolling thunder. All these three ultimates can help them secure a round if used nicely. They can just straight up pour all of them in an upcoming round.
Exactly right. And all of these ultimates are just so impactful in retakes. It's not like Bladestorm, which purely depends on your skill, or like the Seekers, which will seem underwhelming at points, you know. Yeah, you gather information with the Seekers, but it's not like you're gonna panic and run when there's a cabbage coming at you. You will definitely panic when there's a race flying at 100 miles an hour coming at you with a rocket launcher. So yeah, just the compositional difference that Aster Army and Godsreign have kind of makes the Aster Army roster feel a lot more intimidating. 5-12, and Godsreign have been able to string together quite some rounds in a row, but now that Aster Army have taken this tactical timeout, they look to end things right here and now. They don't want to drag this map any longer. And let's take a look at what's been working for Godsreign so far, right? In the last few rounds that they have been successful in, they were basically just taking it slow and oscillating a lot between A main and B main. That's where the majority of their forces lie on, towards the southern side of the map. Occasionally, they will probably send like one player towards the north side, maybe towards arcade or towards dish, but most of their main forces take control of the main regions first. Oh, and I say that, and they instantly pivot. This time, there's 4 players towards the northern side of the map and only Vibor towards south. Yeah. So, yeah, one tactical timeout and Godsreign change everything. Just basically making me eat my words again.
I guess Vibor's not really a big fan of violence. But
fan of Gandhi too much? Wait, that it didn't actually get activated, so it's fine. I mean, they break it down and reveal their position anyway, but now they don't know exactly how many players are there towards arcade.
I mean, they wouldn't have known either ways, because even if the turret shoots, yeah. So at least it would have been like destined that, okay, one player's going to be shooting that no matter what. But, yeah, slow approach so far. A change of the pace, definitely. Godsreign taking their sweet time this time. Even Vibor has got his turret set up to make sure that no one's going to be pushing up forward from the B main's area. But I don't think so even Godsreign, they've got any sort of game plan to push out of B main. Texas got his hands on the orbital strike, and I think so he might just use it to force out someone from the site itself. Not a lot of time left over. They need to make it a quick one.
Yep. But for now, it's only Kishi just holding tower. And he will just use his nanoswarms to deal some damage, maybe delay the spike plant a little bit. Hopefully get another unlucky kill onto Vibor like he did in the previous round. But this time, Aster Army just keep all their players alive. They don't face anyone. God's Reign also managed to make all of their players healthy and get back into safer positions. And since they have so many of these post-spawn Q-Tills, they will abandon the site entirely. Hellfire gets committed towards the other side, but Autumn is dishing out quite a lot of punishment. Doxer with the judge finally deals with him, and now that they've got the weapons, Aster Army can start flooding in. But this crossfire between Hoax and Sai can be devastating, and they just need to play on each other's contact. Dishing out all the punishment is Hoax, and that's nice. It's a nice double kill for this guy. He's getting closer and closer to his own ultimate. I kind of feel like Tix could have saved that orbital strike a little bit, you know? Considering that now even Kishi will have the lockdown and he's most likely going to invest it soon. That orbital strike would have been really useful to destroy the lockdown.
Four ultimates up for their opponents. Even a Nightfall now to top it off. Aster Army should have this one in their bags. They're probably going to be trying to pour every single ultimate on the board and somehow get this round secured in their hands. Before that, they'll also need to make sure that they're not going to be dropping any bodies right off the bat. And we've got, once again, one of the players trying to make the same move from the underpass area. It's going to be in the name of Marzel. They try to push up quite deep. He's gotten a decent amount of control so far, and and as he gets that kill, he's going to try to back away like a thief in the night. Sai, no intentions to go against his opponents, to chase him down. So massive man disadvantage in the hands of God's Reign. It's going to be a 4-5 scenario. Good kill from Autumn. That's going to equalize the man number so far. 22-12 is the score line of Autumn, and yeah, this man's feeling himself.
Yeah, Autumn just making up for all of it. Really the tip of the spear for his team. Okay, that's a bit of a preemptive lockdown from Kishi. Somewhat unnecessary, but hey, now this will give God's Reign a layer of security, you know. They think they have sold the fake successfully. But little do they know that Aster Army are actually split quite evenly. Both of them on both sides. Nightfall also gets committed towards A. Aster Army are really using a lot of the ultimates in the wrong way, but that doesn't matter because Aduka is primarily positioned, and now Kohli will hit them square in the face with the Rolling Thunder. It isolates them both. They're separated from each other. Sai and Autumn don't have trading potential, and Sai, he might have the right idea by looking to his star, but he's also so paranoid about Doxer's position. He has no choice but to face him right now, clear some space so that Autumn can plant, and Autumn, he can't do anything. Doxer makes it work.
Oh, even the time was running away, and Aster Army, you can tell it just by Marzel's face how happy he is to win that map. And as I said, it was the map pick of God's Reign. Considering Aster Army is able to take it away just like that so easily, it just impresses me. Against a team like God's Reign who defeated Revenant Esports so promisingly, and you can see how devastated God's Reign are. Of course, you will be devastated by completely losing on one-sided way on your own map pick. You have to be devastated. But as I said, this was a team that also won Fracture against Metal Esports in the group stage. So I sort of had a little bit of knowing that maybe there's a high chance that Aster Army might just have a stronger side on this map. But considering God's Reign picked, I thought God's Reign should have something prepared of their own. But I guess they just got absolutely discombobulated. But ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for us to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Came for my wings, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Feeling under pressure.
Feeling under pressure. Pressure.
And I feel like even Aster Army so far have been showing their own playstyle, their own way to handle things. With that being said, YouTube audience, welcome back. We're gonna get on to the agent select of the map 2 of this entire series of Bind, as we're gonna be taking a look at both the players. They're having smiles on their faces, so I'm loving it.
Yep, I love it too. I wonder if they'll pick up something very unique this time around. I also like the fact that they have sent Hoax on the Raze. We've seen him on the KOs and the Breaches and the Initiators a bit too much, but now that he's on the Raze, I want to see him get down and dirty in the thick of the action. Straight into the faces of his enemies, satcheling across. And that's the thing about Hoax, right? Even though he is quite a stable player, he's not like one of those mad psycho razers who will just satchel in across the map and try to get space. Nope, that's something only Paradox does. Hoax is a very laid back and a very thoughtful Raze. I mean, he will play on the back of his boombot and his paint shields and whatnot, but he's not the kind of guy who will just satchel across and just do some mad stuff like Paradox does. I don't know, maybe that will change in this game. Maybe he will bring about that aggressive side, but you'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah, sort of like a team player, that's what you mean. But yeah, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, kicking things off for the pistol round. Godsreen on defense and Aster on attack. I feel like Aster really do start to shine on the attacking side, especially. The cage was there to make sure that the visual is going to be denied as well. Nicely done by Marzo. Now the opponents don't even have exact information on how many players are on to the long side. And look at this. This is where they're sort of just trapped inside the entire hookah region. Vapor able to catch one of the players off guard, slipping by. Coley taken care of. A 4-on-3 scenario against the players of Aster Army, having a huge man disadvantage. On the other hand, Godsreen can try to make sure that they're pinning down their opponents on the site.
Oh, this pinch, it seems like it's gonna work out. Oh, never mind. Hoax is able to get both those kills after he dies. Posthumous kills for this man, and God's Reign start this round off on the right foot. It comes down to the wire. God's Reign, they survive by the skin of their teeth, but they get the round nonetheless.
That was an interesting one indeed. I mean, you saw Kishi try to back his teammate up with the firepower, and he thought that it's okay. With the paint shield, I'll probably be the one to fall down, but we'll still at least have the man advantage secured. But then, unfortunately, that was not the case. Even the other guy dies. So yeah, unfortunate stuff for Aster Army there. Not a way they wanted to start off this the first round of the second game, but it's completely fine. Now they're going to be on an anti-eco. Opponents having better weaponry. And Aster Army with only a couple of classics and sheriffs.
Well, at least this Trailblazer confirms presence on where Aster Army is. And because they lose control of the path area, they go quickly in towards A. Oh, and the short push works out. Vibor somehow trying to keep his teammates alive, trying to deny the plant, but that's all that he can do for now.
Autumn looking to press up on the wounds once again, pushing in from the bathrooms area. Also trying to get these creep and crawl their way towards all the way back in the spawn. And yeah, Coley with his classic trying his best to strike back. Has also dealt quite a lot of damage on one of the players, but yeah, not going to be able to secure the round, but still a solid eco round from Aster Army. Really nicely done, able to get 4 bodies off the board, or 3 bodies off the board off their opponents.
Yeah, I think 3 bodies is quite nice, and given the way that they're reacting to all these God's Reign aggro plays, I think Aster Army are going to put up quite a show when they have the buy round online. Also, I love the proactivity that God's Reign are bringing to the table right now. Trailblazers are teleporters to check bot. Even in the first round, they had all that presence towards the other side. So, I like it. This time, once again, it's a double push out towards the short region. This Viper wall that Aster Army has put up, God's Reign use it against them to clear the areas and get a little deeper into enemy territory. But after making first contact, they fall back. They don't want to extend too much. Boombot and Trailblazer both coming towards bot, so it's not like Aster Army are trying to keep their positions a secret either. They're just hoping to give misinformation to God's Reign, hopefully draw out some over-rotations.
Yeah, trying to lead him to the wrong direction. The ball goes up, but God's Reign, they're going to strike right back in the timing. Marzel to get both of them confirmed, and also the neural theft's going to come into play. God's Reign, every single player's position is now going to be compromised. And the rest 3 players are only going to have sheriffs on the hand. Even inside the bathrooms region, we'll try to at least get a heroic play done. Good paint shield, so good timing out of that one. Going to force the defenders back to the spawn. A lot of time being bought so far by the players of Aster Army. Also have the man advantage in the hands for God's Reign. The chances of them winning this round are quite thin, unless some miraculous plays, some miraculous shots are being hit with the sheriffs.
The only way God's Reign can really win this round is by taking U-Haul. If they go via the other side of the truck, the crossfire between Aduka and Kishi will destroy them. Now at least it will force Kishi to reposition, right? So there's a little bit of time before the trades come through. And that's exactly why they're able to get at least that 1 kill which they possess. Aster Army, they stabilize right back. But then again, God's Reign also getting 3 frags on a bonus round. I think that's still quite nice. Now that both the teams have their ultimates online, one has to point out that Marzel was feeling quite a lot of momentum. In just the 3rd round itself, he's able to use his neural theft, and that is quite fast. Even Bibor has his orbital strike available, so whatever he was lacking in the first half is now being made up for.
Yeah. A good bird. A lot of information given away. Kishi able to find that early one too. A lot of informations are being conveyed on both the sides, to be honest. They're getting so much vital information. Autumn's going to push up so deep from the long area. And it doesn't seem like Aster Army, they've got any clue of that too. But there is a tripwire waiting, so Autumn cannot push all the way deep in towards the spawn and try to flank him. He's going to be met with the tripwire soon enough.
But he's
So
a jet.
Aster
He can
Got
just...
your trail.
Yeah,
Oh, never mind. He can't updraft over them. Okay, then takes.
There we go. Side control taken away once again. Aster Army, they're really just pushing their barrels down their opponent's throats on this A site.
Spike
And
planted.
God's Dream, they stand no chance.
Last player standing.
Oh, backstab is dealt with. And they already know where Sai was. So all they have to do is just hold the front line now. And they don't even want to give him these 1v1s.
Ball back, Sai
Miles ready.
gets one though still. He's also got the Seekers up for himself, but considering it's a 1-on-3, the wiser option has to be to go for a save. Aster Army, though, they're really impressing me. They're making God's Ring struggle so much, it seems like they're just choking him to death. As I said, they're just stuffing their barrels in their throats and easily able to get their side control in the hands, too.
Yeah, the aggression from Aster Army is working out quite well. I also like the proactivity from God's Reign, you know? The fact that Autumn was pushing all the way inside, it really made me nervous for a second because the first person to die from Aster Army was Marzel. And it was his tripwires that were supposed to keep Autumn in check. And then I thought, yeah, now that Marzel's dead, Autumn's backstab will come true. I mean, it will really help them out. But by the time he came into the picture, the rest of his team was already dead and buried. So yeah, he was a bit late to the party. But this time he looks to start the party by himself. Look at this aggro push out from God's Reign once again. They've been using a shot quite well, but Autumn can't escape. A hailstorm of bullets in his general vicinity. 3 people firing at him, and they pepper him down to death.
Aster Army, a fearless squad of death. Just raining down death and destruction on their opponents. Orbital strike is up in the hands of Coley. But I highly doubt they're even going to need to use that, considering it's an eco round for their opponents. Once again, a clean stroll on the B site. No one able to even stop them, even able to get a single kill against their opponents. Kishi's the only one to stopping up a little bit. Finally, as Marzo drops dead. It's still a 4-on-2 scenario, highly favoring the players of Aster. And Goalie's going to be in the cleanup crew.
Sheesh. I mean, the first 2 kills that Aster Army was able to get were just so clean. God's Reign couldn't do anything about that one. Both those players just trapped in these awkward spots by themselves. No backup available. So Aster Army don't even struggle to get those 2 kills. And as the rest of them confirm their presence towards the defender spawn, Aster Army just turned that area into a choke point. No entry for you. But this time God's Reign can really put up some punishment. 5 massive ultimates available on them. I'm starting to get nervous now, Necro. And they even have the AWP in the hands of Autumn. It's funny because Aster Army have been using the bath area quite heavily up until now, but the one round where Autumn has an AWP, they avoid it like the plague.
Interesting, right? Maybe they are sensing some sort of presence over there. Don't know. I mean, they should know that there's a chance or a possibility of an operator soon enough. Aduka with a showstopper popped out instantly. Also gets the judge out as well. There was a 0 point utilized. The null command was used as well. And that's why he wasn't really able to use that showstopper to its fullest potential, but it's still not going to matter. He's managed to flush out the players from bathrooms. Autumn will now need to take and press up on his opponents, but he whiffs every single knife. Has no value found from the Blade Storm. And Aster Army, once again, as they've also got the site control, they've also got the plant down, and their post-plant positionings are looking pretty nice as well.
They're looking fly. And this is actually quite a nice approach from Aster Army. I love how they just ignore the lamps region. They just use the orbital strike towards the right-hand side of the site near the green boxes. And they've got the Raze, Aduka, flying in with a showstopper to clear anyone who's holding back. Now, it's a different story that he didn't get to use the showstopper. That's because Styx activated the null command. But still, he had a judge in his hand, which is completely capable of clearing out those close corners. And then he even upgrades to a Vandal to shoot down Autumn, who, by the way, was standing there the entire time. If Autumn continued staying over there, then Aster Army would have lost some players and the post plan would have been at least that much weaker. But Autumn doesn't even get to do anything. As soon as he sees all those players in front of his screen, he gets decision paralysis. Has to then decide which target to hit with which blade, and ends up getting no value out of the knives.
It even sort of felt like when he saw both the players in front of him, he panicked. Because you saw his aim. He was just like, as you mentioned, yeah, the decision paralysis. Yeah, that's one way to put it. But you can also call it a panic situation. His aim was just like flickering between both of those. So yeah, not being able to find those easy targets, that sort of cost them the entire round too. And Aster Army, I don't understand how they're easily able to get inside the A site like that. No one even is able to put any sort of a full stop. They're not even able to find any kills against Aster Army. It just seems like so far Aster Army are supreme.
They are indeed reigning supreme, and they've taken the lead in quite a spectacular fashion. God's Reign winning the first 2 rounds, but then after that, Aster Army win all those rounds in a row. Basically putting God's Reign on max loss bonus once again. With whatever weapons they have saved, they continue to make a stand, but honestly, they will need a lot more than that now. And they make that up by pushing out a B long. Even though the weaponry is lacking, this push out is going to get them some area at the very least. They even find one utility piece from Marzel, so they've completed this area out. But look at Aduka. This is just nuts. Even the teleport inside doesn't really hold any value because Autumn's trapped. He's down and marked for death.
Oh man, it's like Aster Army. They're ready with the pesticides and the opponents are insects. Nowhere to escape. It's like an entire poison zone filled with the poison of Aster Army. And they're able to just force out the peaks from their opponents all the time.
And all this poison without Doxer having to do anything.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, that's a good point that you brought up. We haven't even seen Doxer's kit being utilized to its fullest potential just yet. We've only seen that wall towards the U-Haul. That's it.
Yeah,
we haven't even seen anything else in that.
The funny part is they don't even like going towards U-Haul. You remember that round where Aster Army used the orbital strike and the showstopper? They focused on the right-hand side of the site, not the U-Haul region. So it's really funny to see all this.
What?
Aduka almost got a double sprayed out again, but this time Hoke says no. And it's a resounding no. Doubles up. And he's still got plenty of HP left. He even farms up his paint shell once again. This time they will use the...
needed.
Yeah. But this time finally Aster Army used the Viper wall which it's intended to be used for. They use it to take control of U-Hauls. Something they haven't done too often in the past, but this time Hoax is also aware about this one, and there's so many people to back him up over here. Up close and personal, the timing is unfortunate for Doxer. And Marzel peeks to his death. Tomb on his screen at the same time. Goalie has to dig the spike out of that deep area. The smokes come through, but so does the spam.
19 HP left onto this man. Autumn 2 closing in from the flank angles. I highly doubt he's going to be able to pull off anything with only 19 HP left over. Tix, he's also got 2 flashes available. And yeah, all it's going to take is that one single bullet onto his dome or either anywhere on his body. God's Reign, they finally are able to get 1 round in their hands. Sort of like a momentum stopper. A 3-5 still. Aster Army do have some sort of cushions on the scoreboard.
Yeah,
Vibor got 4 kills. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, Vibor at least is having a decent game this time around. He got really unlucky in the previous one. But I like how God's Reign this time are defending A. I mean, they do have quite a lot of resistance over here, right? The double kill from Hoax towards Bath, and God's Reign have been focusing on Bath quite often, and they do it in very different ways. Sometimes by double pushing out of that area, sometimes by jumping into the teleporters from B long. Like, even this time, look. Sai just sent a Trailblazer through the B-long teleporter and cleared out Bath, but then Autumn peeks through that Viper toxin screen and gets the kill on Takeshi. That's a very brave peek.
That's such a quick kill too. My eyes barely registered him on the screen. And Autumn was already able to make sure that his opponent's bodies are going to drop down to the board. Aster Army still have managed to force themselves all the way inside the site so far. Marzel was the one to make the entry in, but they still haven't really got the spike plant down. And look at the ballsy move made from Marzel. The trader was there on the board, but even Doxer was there to able to get 1 onto his own favor. And now God's Reign, a 3-on-2 scenario. Aster Army Of course, not have the man advantage, but it's still convertible. That's Tix and Autumn. Both the players, both the imports are on the exact same site. Even a flash shot from the bathrooms. The player gets distracted and Tix able to pick him off. Doxer, not a lot of HP, softened up.
And he's kind of trapped over there. Fragments, sneak fight, everything will be thrown towards him. Oh, and never mind. God's Reign just luring Aster Army into a trap. I feel like these slow-paced executes from Aster Army are really being their deterrent, right? God's Reign are able to hold on to the A side every time Aster Army try to sneak in or try to make one of those contact plays. And this is partially because of Autumn's bravery. Wanting to peek out of that toxin screen, it was a bit brave, you know. This could have gone horribly wrong, but he manages to get that kill. Even Vibor holds on to this area very nicely. Marcel tries to alleviate the pressure by swinging out of the smoke, hoping to surprise his opponent. And he does get one kill, but that's just wishful thinking. He was assuming that God's Reign would only have that one player in the back of sight because he just spotted Autumn and Vibor in different parts of the map.
Good Trailblazer, honestly. Gives his opponent's position away, but they forgot to spot out Tix in that moment. Aster Army able to get both of those players easily enough. Sort of are also able to clear out the site. They've also managed to get their foot on the side as well. Sai's position, considering now is that given away, he should be still the one to receive him because he's the only one on the site so far. You also hear the instant teleporter. Scully trying to play a little bit of mind games with that smoke, shrouding himself in that one. And Showstopper able to make it past on to Coley, but still their instant trade is there.
Hoax sends the Showstopper in, and he turns back around to get the kill onto his opponent in Hookah. Now it's all down to Doxer. He has to jiggle in and out of this Viper's Spit. The Trailblazer gets the better of him, and he's just trying to maintain distance, but Hoax will clear out everything. What a performance from this man. I really thought that he would die instantly as soon as he popped the Showstopper, you know? Because there was Goalie hiding inside of that smoke in Hookah, and Hoax had no way to check that, but then he just puts the satchel in, sends the Showstopper, and still turns around to fight Goalie, and he does it well enough. So that indeed was very surprising to look at.
Not gonna lie, so far this game has been quite electric. 5-5. You love to see it. Scoreline being tied up as well. Godspeed sort of just chilling out in the back lines. This tactical timeout was really needed for Aster Armies because somehow God's Reign have managed to put a halt on the momentum of Aster Army. So yeah, this timeout is desperately needed.
God's Reign keeping it nice and competitive this time around. I like how God's Reign are consistently taking control of B long. And by doing so, they also, by virtue of using the Trailblazers again and again via the B long teleporter, get control of Bath as well. So the extremities of the map are being handled really well by God's Reign. And since Sai by himself is capable of doing that, he can take control of both those areas all alone. And that leaves 4 players available for God's Reign to guard Hookah and A-Shot respectively. That is very well distributed. If one player can get so much value, so much information, then all the other players have a lot more bandwidth to keep up the aggressive end.
Yeah. No commands available for Tix. The Orbital Strike still up for Vibor.
This is fast.
Utilized. Yeah. At least put some sort of a stop on the opponent's momentum. Once again, a Dukai able to get one with that Showstopper. Nicely done. The entry's done as well, and now Autumn's isolated all by himself with the operator in his hands, but he's still able to find Doxer with that aggressive peek. Doxer does not expect him to peek out of his own smokes, and look at Marcel from the back lines looking to flank up anyone from God's Reign, and Tix moves away in the wrong timing. He's going to get surprised soon enough. A good orbital strike from his opponent, but Marcel gets snuffed out too.
This judge has to be the deterrent over here. It's the only thing that can stop God's Reign. It's the only saving grace they have, but Hoax blows him apart, and it's all down to Coley. The man who made it look possible now has to make it all on his own, and he baits Autumn into a trap, but Hoax is ready and feeling himself. What a performance from God's Reign.
Look, It just feels like Aster Army, I'm sorry to cut you off, it just feels like Aster Army are forcing themselves into these fights, man. They really don't need to. Once they get the site control, all they need to do is just hold down the crossfires.
Yeah, but where will they hold the crossfires from? Their initial plan was to just control the site and then take control of B long, but now they can't do it because Autumn's present over there. So, in response to it, they decide to fight towards CT, especially because Marzel is coming from there as well. So they're like, yeah, sure, we don't have B-long control, but with Marzel's flank, we can probably crunch CT, fight them all over there, and destroy the retake before it even begins. But then comes Hoax, and he says, nah, you're not doing any of that. He deals with the Dukas judge, he deals with the rest of them as well.
Keeps the hands off his opponents. Not gonna lie, that operator has been proven to be quite a key stopper for Godsreen. Always able to stop all the amount of aggression that their opponent's showing against them. And once again, a quick round onto the site. Entry is being found. This is what I like to see from Aster Army. This is what they should do in most of the rounds. Now as they've found a free flow on the site, they know exactly that there should be some players available towards the bathroom area. They're really not looking for to extend anymore. Nicely done. Shorting the close quarters will make sure that Tix is put back to sleep. Godsreen, they're going to take their time inside this retake now.
Yeah, and they can afford to take their sweet time because they have so much control of Bath as well. They will crunch Aster Army, and here comes the showstopper too. But Kishi peeks out a little late, and he might just save the day yet. Here he comes battling down the other side. We're both trying to make up for it, but he's left to his own devices, having to check both these angles one by one. He isolates the fight against Kishi. That wasn't supposed to happen, and now it's all down to Marzel. Because of the neural depth, he can tell when Vibor's holding and when he isn't, and he's got so much suppressive utility. He knows every move that Vibor's making. Marzel's not falling for any of those bluffs.
6-6.
Switching sides.
That's how the first half is going to end. A really close ending in the first half. But yeah, that operator from Autumn has managed to put in so much work. Vibor in the end too. He had a nice 3K in his hands, but unfortunately wasn't really able to secure that round for his team. Ladies and gentlemen, the first half is quite a close affair, but we never know what the second half holds for us. You guys saw yesterday what happened. The first half was most of the time close, but then second half a team started running away with a massive lead with a windowless sales. And this can happen this time as well.
It definitely can happen indeed. We'll see whether it's a 2-0 after a short break or will we go to map number 3. Stay tuned.
Hit for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Bro, fridge meat के लिए, heat के लिए नहीं. Bro, this graphics card is making my frames drop. Come with me if you want to get.
The all-new Omen 16 with advanced Tempest cooling technology, now with 5 heat pipes and 4 thermal outlets. The Omen 16 with 12th Gen Intel Core i7 processor to make you forget your frame drops.
Now that's cool.
Game on with Tempest cooling.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z. Or should I say, the Gen Next. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly to it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I Nico cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Hit for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Welcome back into the second half of the second map of this entire series, where the first half has seemed quite a competitive one, but we never know what the future holds for us. Ladies and gentlemen, as we do move on forward to this pistol round, it's going to be quite a key one. But look at Aster Army, all the players having frenzies in their hands. Interesting.
Well, this gun is gonna get a nerf in patch 6.11, so you might as well use it now as much as you can. This and the shorty. I mean, these two weapons have been menaces all across, and 9 out of the 10 players on the server have this.
Yeah, it's
I'm assuming the only reason, and Sai, the only reason he doesn't have frenzy is because he has armor. So. Oh, that's a bait.
Indeed, it was a bait, but at the end of the day, still the man numbers equalized. So, Aster Army aren't going to be okay with that one. Docs are still holding towards the bathrooms area. This man hasn't given away that spot yet. Not that good of a stuff, of course, if you talk about Aster. Considering they're on the defending side, and now that the man number's less, they're not going to have a lot of firepower to hold down a site. They will at least need to give away one side soon enough. Marzel and Kohli, they're posted onto the B site so far. I like the positioning that Marzen is holding, but still it comes with a lot of risk.
Yeah, but there's only one way to get
30
rewards, and it is to
left.
take risk. But the biggest risk I'm worried about right now is the time factor. Aster Army, all they have to do is deny the plant, and I guess they have the util to do so. But they offer Kohli 1v1s, and that's the undoing of God's Reign. He takes that frag, gladly falls back. Marzel tries to be cheeky. He tries to jump out of the smoke and get the better off him, but he fails. And now Doxer will take the same place again. He will swing off of Kohli's contact. They've found out where Sai is, and they both tweak him at the same time.
Wow.
That frenzy can't switch in between targets.
A key round one. The frenzies, all frenzy strategies sort of working out for them. But yeah, Marzel, if Marzel was able to get that kill as soon as he dropped out of hookah, this would not have been this close. But it's completely fine as long as his teammates got his back. This crossfire at the start, it was quite a good one, but unfortunately for Aster Army, they got equally traded out. So that was not a bad trade for God's Reign. But the main problem started there, where they decided to go back to B-side once again. It sort of gave this false presence that they're pretty much going to be backing away from the B-side, but no, that was not the case. They pretty much decided to reroute to the B-side, but Aster Army had their maximum amount of firepower on the B-side available.
Yeah, but this time God's Reign have mass firepower towards Bath, and it's only Marzel who can really stop them. The tripwire is decently placed. Even the camera that's there will put the A side on a lock and key, but it's mainly a Duka with the judge that I'm worried about. Now, luckily God's Reign aren't going towards lamps, so this judge won't really have that much value. And after taking that orb towards the Bath area, they all just rotate back towards B, where it's a 3-stack. Yeah, God's Reign are kind of walking into this trap of sorts. The guiding light even confirms the presence, so Aster Army always a step ahead.
Nicely done. You see the instant proactivity from Aster Army. The wall goes up to deny any sort of visual information just yet. Also the smoke to follow it up, and Kohli's ready with the Molotov. So much time being bought.
Here.
God's Reign on a massive full stop so far. They cannot even push through that Molotov just yet, but they're on the other side looking to flood in. With a flash, they're going to find themselves an entry, but instantly the kills are also going to drop on the floor as well. Autumn was able to get and return back the kill, but that one kill is not going to change anything.
Jesus, so much suppression. First, it's Kohli who uses the smokes and the molly. When the molly runs out, Doxer uses a snake bite. They get vulnerable and walk into the crosshairs of Aster Army players, so they get sprayed down easily. And if that isn't enough, Kishi's using his trailblazers and flashes continuously, so God's Reign have a ton of utility to just walk through. And even somehow, if they manage to dodge the util and get inside, the guns that Aster Army hold will just rip them to shreds. But then again, this was a round where God's Reign weren't supposed to win anyway. It was just an eco. Let's see what happens now, because Aster Army are doubling down. They still have the judges and the bulldogs active, and they refuse to upgrade their weaponry. But that's the thing about a map like Bind. If you can just play passively, even these Spectres will hold quite a lot of value.
Yeah. I like the thought process. Was able to clear out every single angle onto that bathroom area, so that's a good one. Now they've at least got the information. Both the players, Kishi and Kohli, just stacking right outside this teleporter. Vapor as well lurking around towards the A side position, capitalized and compromised. So Vapor now will need to take things a little bit slower. The Viper's wall is going to help the Brim to cross on over all the way towards the bathrooms area.
And this should give Aster
safety.
Yeah, and this gives Aster quite a lot of information, right? The entirety of A side is clear, so the B side definitely has to be under assault. And just to delay that push in from God's Reign, the orbital strike is used by Kohli. And this gives enough time for the reinforcements to arrive. Aster always using the utility to suppress God's Reign. They're forced to execute in the last 30 seconds. And that's when things get helter-skelter, especially when the rotations are already here. A pinstripe of trades, and God's Reign still haven't taken control of the side, and Nduka looks to deny them with the judge. He's using the satchels to move on, but here comes Kishi. And he's been detected as well. Autumn really keeping his team alive in this round.
God's Reign, for them, the weaponry is going to matter quite a lot. If Kohli's able to find E1-1 right here this round, it will be a good bonus round for them. But no, Autumn's going to deny that as well. Once again, a heroic play, a heroic stance from an heroic man. Autumn, this guy has been proven so much today for his team.
But even though Aster lost this round, I have to appreciate the way they're using their utility to just keep God's Reign away. Almost every single time, God's Reign have to execute with like 30, 20-something seconds left on the clock. And yeah, sure, they make it work, but at some point, it's going to come and really pester them. So I hope that God's Reign can find a solution to this at some point. Well, for now, God's Reign just continue doing what they do best, spread out with the defaults, and look at the bravery from Hoax. He's already trying to push ahead off that toxin screen and take control of Hookah by himself. Tix wasn't in place to help him out yet. Well, at least Hookah has been cleared out, but Kohli jumps back in. He really wants to contest this. Meanwhile, the rest of God's Reign are playing super passively towards the path area. Look at Sai. He knows that Aster will try to send the trailblazers and the other Sky utility to clear out this area, so he's just holding as far back as possible, hoping to catch someone who extends ahead. And after just a minute left on the clock, God's Reign are back to square one. They have to start all over again after getting no control whatsoever.
Yeah, they will. The judge once again in the close lines, and Duke only able to get one, but he was also able to soften up the second man. The Doxer's there to get the confirmations flowing up. God's Reign, at least they're able to get their foot on the site so far. Vabor's the only man who's managed to squeeze quite deep in. The smokes are going to help his teammates to follow up too. The smokes are not going to confirm
30
that the
seconds
bullets are going to be stopped. Of course, it's just going to be a little bit of visual denial. God's Reign, somehow they get the spike plant down, but they're not going to be able to stop this entire force, this entire wave of Aster that's going to be approaching them soon enough from the lamps area, but it might just be a double peek, and yes, it is! God's Reign! They return back stronger than ever before to this entire firepower of Aster, and Marzel is holding on to that other side. A good way to cut off the man and clips his wings, and now Marzel, he will be able to shut both of them down.
I like the way how God's Reign get into the site and at least get the plant down. And as soon as they started losing members, instead of falling back towards the shot, which was their initial plan, they decided to double up towards lamps. They have a much better fighting chance over there if they fight together. So they make it work. They get the 2 kills as well, but then their own setup comes to bite them. A smoke put down by Kohli, especially when the plant is towards Struck. They have to peek ahead of this little cubby. And that's when Marzel covers Kohli. Marzel really just took his sweet time to get into position, and at one point I was concerned that he might not be able to get there in time to help his team out. But guess what? It all worked out perfectly. The stars aligned, and Kohli was protected just well.
Blinded.
Good blind.
Grenade.
Positions known. Paint shields out too to clear out the close quarters. And the Trailblazer is going to give Marzel's position away too. God's Reign though, they do not really want to press just yet against Aster Army.
But
and
wait,
Aster
I don't
quite adamant.
Yeah, Aster Army, I mean, they're quite adamant to stay where they are, but because God's Reign are making so much noise towards B long, they are hoping that Aster Army will over-rotate, but this is not enough to sell the fake.
Time to hunt.
Yeah, the spike is onto the A site with Tix. He's the one to carry it. Now the teleports are her too, and soon enough, Aster, they should have the rotations coming in as well. 0 Point able to spot out the player towards U-Haul. And even Godsreed up till now, they haven't pushed in just yet. Oh, a little bit of iffy spray from the side of Kohli, but finally he's able to shut him down. Godsreed, the kills are going to start to happen back and forth. The traits are equally there on the board, but so far they haven't really gotten the better weaponry in their hands. So that's a good thing. They've only got a Spectre, Sheriff, and only one Phantom. Let's see how Aster Army is going to be able to press up on against that.
It's all down to this judge. Aduka has to clear value, and he does. Amazing stuff, and now only Sai is left, and he's already got one foot in the grave.
What?
Aduka doesn't even need a line of sight to kill him. Just a random nade chuck down there, and it's all done and dusted. Aster Army make this retake look clean. And just like that, by virtue of getting a triple, Aduka has his showstopper as well. Speak about getting value out of a judge, and this man knows how to do it.
Indeed they do. I mean, I like how Aster Army are playing this. They're so disciplined too, as you mentioned. No over-rotations at all. They're not moving out of the side until they get some sort of visual confirmation. So I'm just loving it. The amount of discipline Aster Army are showing inside the plays that they're pulling off so far. It's incredible.
Exactly. The amount of information they're gathering as well is just so good. I mean, God's Reign tried to throw in a couple of Sky Flashes, Trailblazer and everything towards B-Long. Aster Army called their bluff. They're like, yeah, you're just trying to sell a fake. We know it. Aster used their Sky utility too towards Bath just to confirm the presence, and then they know everything. They're always a step ahead. At least one thing that's been working for them is that Folks has been using the hookah area quite well, but now Aduka is a menace.
Nah, that judge needs to be stopped. I mean,
I know,
in the
right?
first half, it didn't really have a lot of impact, but now on the defending side, he's just making it look broken straight up.
And then Riot is deciding to nerf the shorty. They don't realize the judge is still broken.
Shorty is so unpredictable, right? Sometimes it works nicely, sometimes it doesn't. But
and the judge is still consistent.
Yeah, it's like once you know that you have a good positioning, it will work no matter what.
And nobody gives a damn about the Bucky at all, so that gun just doesn't receive any love at all. Shotguns in a nutshell. Oh,
straight
look
up,
at this.
I don't even think I've seen Aduka with the end of the gun, but I'm going to hold on to my words for now. It's Godsreed, okay. They brute force their way in inside the site, but when Aduka's available, that brute force not going to work out. Showstopper to get the kills flowing, and once again, Aduka, now he's got another challenger approaching him in Bathrooms area, but this judge is unstoppable.
Oh, it's not just unstoppable, it's literally a menace. Oh, but finally, God's Reign have dealt with the aggression. They can easily go for the plant. Well, he has a way of isolating the fights, but he looks away.
God,
what? He still turns around to kill Tix? He was supposed to die in one shot. And now both these players are super low. It's appropriate that Autumn has a shorty. I mean, as useless as this gun is on long range, since Kohli is so low on HP, it should be enough to clear him out, right? Right? Probably. Oh, the anxiety, it's stepping up now.
Oh my god, he didn't have any bullets. Oh. Dude, what?
Timing.
No. Oh man, that was just... It's like silence speaking for itself. Both the guys just looking at each other in awkward ways. I mean, he tries to pull out a Vandal, but then realizes he's got no bullets left over in that gun. Then pulls out a shorty once again, which only has one bullet. Oh,
and it works.
Man.
The amount of tension building up in that 1v1 as both these players just inch closer to each other. That's just so funny to look at. Oh, borderline comical, I must say. But in this round, things start off in a mirror fashion of sorts. Both the Skies exchange flashes towards long, but Aster Army finally deciding to use the Viper's Pit. Doxer had it since quite some time, and now he's gonna lock out the B side with it. And while they take control of B with Viper's Pit, they also push out of Bath, so God's Reign have virtually no map control at all at this point.
Hey, Aduka's finally using a Vandal, but God's Reign, they're gonna try to resist this control, I guess, but not when Marcel and Aduka, they've got a crossfire set up. entirely denying that presence in Godsream. Now they're gonna fall on top of their faces, but Hoax is there. This guy is single-handedly trying his best to find an entry inside the B site, but he's not gonna expect Coley in the clotheslines, and Coley will seal the deal on him. Takes care of business all by himself. A good flash from Aster Army, but then Vibor's there to neutralize things out.
Bring me with the stimmy. That's what happens, but hey, Godsream are stabilized surprisingly well. And it's all because of the heroics of Hoax. Clearing out the B side, letting his teammates go towards long. They have the spike on their back, so they can always TP back to the A site. But in case they do TP, Marzel has his setup over there, so he can be a bit of a menace. And even the tripwire, it's placed to prevent the spike plant, so definitely one guy's getting caught. And tagged. Plant on the other side of it. Maybe because of the camera attack they can get the spam kill, but no, Vibor makes it back to safety. And now both of them are playing towards bot. They double peek. Aduka can't deal with them all. And Godsream survived this one.
That was so close. I thought they were going to line up. I'm not going to lie.
We'll mow them down.
It was so close to seem like they were going to line up. But Godsream, are they having a birthday party? They're having balloons, chairs? Like, what's going on? I think so they're having a birthday party. Is it someone's birthday there?
If I'm not wrong, it was Sai's birthday on the 1st of this month.
Yeah, but it was like a decent time ago.
Yeah, 3 days ago.
Yeah, so...
They are having a watch party. I mean, you remember how Orangutan had a watch party in their own boot camp yesterday? Godsream have it in their boot camp today. So all these teams are just taking turns, you know, inviting the fans over towards their boot camp and making them, you know, all these little snacks and welcoming them. So I like it. That's probably why they have put up the balloons as well, you know, to welcome everybody.
Yeah, I mean, why not just get us a casting setup in the boot camp?
Hey.
Blinded.
Hey, that
just
sounds
because we
pretty
don't
cool,
get
no?
to, see, just because we don't get to come to the studio, we'll take anything at this point.
I mean, look, it'll look just like a LAN tournament, like the crowd cheering in the back whenever something bad happens.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the whole setup later on, but I love this setup. That nade almost killed Sai as he was trailblazing. Really nice stuff. Sai also aware just enough to get out of that position in time. Otherwise, he would have been a dead man. But because they get the confirmation, Aster Army are now triple pushing out of Bath. They just had to get Aduka into this close corner. But guess what? Now that the bind, the walls around the bind have been changed in this version of bind, you can actually spot the gun battle quite soon. So I don't know if this judge can get that much impact now. And even if it can't, Godsream are making it work. They push all the way out of shot and they get the A side for themselves. Kishi just being such a pest. Spike denied and there's only 16 seconds left. He can go for something like that once again. The orbital strike denies the plant once more. Another orbital strike. They fight fire with fire. The skies have been torn asunder and Kohli gets burned alive. It's all up to Doxer. He has to somehow stop this. The dink comes through, but there's just way too much heat to handle.
Yeah, one bullet in this Bulldog. And the players in the front are quite softened up, but Doxer just taps back. And, well, there you go. We're bored to close it off. Nicely done. Godsream watch party. The players or the guys are definitely having a good time just watching this game so far. But Godsream, they're barely hanging on the cliffs. And for Aster Army, that previous round was an equal round too. So now this upcoming round is going to be a bye round. A key and a crucial round.
I know, right? But even though Godsream are winning all these rounds, I'm still concerned about their timing. They make these executes work just in the last few seconds. And so far, they haven't been punished for it, which is very surprising. I mean, yeah, every now and then, some shotgun player from Aster Army will jump out and deny the planter. Even the utility will be thrown in. But yet, somehow, Godsream are able to hold on to all that nonsense that's been thrown at them. Aster Army needs something more solid. They need something stronger. The utility placement has been on point so far. They balled the round down to the last few seconds. So that's their win condition. But despite having the win condition come active every time, they're not able to get the rounds. They need a catalyst. What could it possibly be? Maybe getting a Duka or Showstopper could be that. He's just 1 point away from it. I don't think the rest of their ultimates will come online in the soft. There's just way too little time left. And they're so far away from that. Takes I don't know what that null command will establish. There's not much utility that Aster Army have in the first place.
Yeah.
And now they play a little more proactively. Aster Army have been quite proactive towards the bot area, but this time they decide to give up on it, and God's Reign instantly take that space.
Slower approach. The calm before the storm, you can call it. Aduka knows Wabor spotted. And instantly Aster Army there will fall back because that was a little confirmation move they just wanted to have. A good hawk. Position being taken away too. Now they know that God's Reign sort of have tried their best to creep and crawl in quite deep. But God's Reign, they're not going to reroute their decision at all. They're still going to keep on sticking to that A side. And Autumn somehow was able to find that kill, which did not seem possible at all. And Hoax was able to take down Aduka as well. He just straight up walks into the paint shells. Don't know what the game plan was there for Aster Army, but these type of kills, they cannot really afford to keep on giving away. And now God's Reign, a free stroll on the site, and also the spike gets planted too. Marshall from the back is trying his best to at least put on a little bit of leash on his opponents, but it highly seems next to impossible as he's the last million alive. But it's a 1-on-2, it's pullable, and yeah, a 3K already in the hands of Marshall. Is it going to be an ace clutch?
He could have had it down to a 1v1, but Tix gets revived. He's back up on his feet, and now he's taking the high ground towards heaven. Marzel clearing out all these areas, but none of the opponents from God's Reign are ready to face him. This might just be 11th for them. Even if he gets the kill onto Tix, there's no way he can go back to defuse. Yep, it's done. God's Reign have mounted this comeback.
Yeah, but what Marzel's trying to do though is kept his opponent's economy humble. So, still a decent round, even though Aster Army lost that one. A decent round considering they have managed to keep their opponent's economy humble, but they themselves are going to be struggling from an economy crisis.
One enemy remaining.
And this is like the worst time to have an economic meltdown. Last few rounds of the game left, and you run out of money now. Down to just pennies and pocket lint. Now, you need deeper pockets. You need an ace up your sleeve as well, not just the deep pockets. Oh, and maybe this could be it. Here comes the showstopper. He wants to get deep inside, but God's Reign just fall all the way back. They're not even close to this man. So the showstopper finds absolutely nothing, and God's Reign, they're okay with giving away a little bit of map control just to make sure that they don't get obliterated by the rockets. Trailblazer clears area back out, and just like that, crisis has been averted.
Aster Army, they need to go huge in this round if they do not want to force this series into a 3-mapper. On the other hand, God's Reign, their lifeline depends on this one, considering you are in the upper brackets and you do not want to be forced down to the lower brackets. That's where all the bad stuff happens. It's the undergrounds. God's Reign, once again, rerouting their way towards the A side, just like the last round.
Seekers
available. As soon as they get their hands on the, as soon as they get their hands on the orb, they're gonna back off.
He should use his Seekers of his own. I kind of feel like Aster Army are using their ults a bit too prematurely. If they waited for the actual execute to come inside, that would be great. But they will just use the Viper utility to keep them at bay. And so far, it's working brilliantly. Aduka and Kishi putting up quite a lot of resistance over here. Tix and Sai have a very awkward situation now as they have no smokes cover to plant. They will have to make a gamble and plant it in the open, or just fake plant and hope that Aster Army fight them all at once. And Aster Army do pick up the fight. Tix will respond brilliantly. Oh, but the spike plant gets denied. Oh, he sprays them down.
Oh God.
That was so iffy.
My heartbeat, man. Tix being able to get both of those kills right there, I thought, okay, God's Reign have somehow pulled this round away from the death's grip. But then no, the planner dies too. Not a good spot to plan at, that's for sure. But you even can't blame God's Reign for doing that. They didn't have any other choice because they had no clue where the opponents are positioned.
Sheesh. That's what happens when you try to execute in the last 30 seconds of the round. It will boil down to these chaotic fights. The entire round just feels like a staging phase of the whole execute, you know? And Aster Army are just doing the best they can to keep God's Reign at bay. They use the Viper fuel at the very last moment to keep it saved up, just to make them vulnerable as they try to fly through. And now that there were no smokes available, God's Reign had to take that risk. They had to go in for that very precarious plant spot. I mean, at one point, Sai was brave enough to even go for a fake plant, hoping that Aster Army will offer them the fight. And they did! Tix even managed to kill 2 of them, and that's what made me super nervous. Imagine if God's Reign were able to pull off that 2v4 clutch just by the virtue of fighting. That would be like the nuttiest way to win and get map point. But this game, man, it keeps us on the edge of our seats. If I had any nails, I probably would be biting them right now with anxiety.
Get out of my way.
Yeah. Bladestorm popped early off. Aster Army and even God's Reign face an equal amount of pressure. God's Reign fighting for their lifeline in the upper brackets. This is going to be a key round. This round will force the opponent team, or any team that wins it, on the match point, and also this series point. And so far, God's Reign once again installing brakes on their feet, taking a slow and steady approach to whatever they want to do, because they haven't really got the better weaponry inside this sort of a scenario. So they do not just want to straight up go their heads in and push out. They want to take their time.
Yeah, but this time they're going for a contact play. They sneak up all the way towards long. Flash is primed on either side, but Kishi can't send his birds in. Goalie just wants to get back to safety. He can establish this crossfire with Doxer, who is spraying everybody down. Great recovery. I appreciate the contact play that God's Reign tried to make, but Aster Army was just a step ahead. And now Marzel's in the prime position to stop them all. No, what? Vipor still wins the duel. It now falls down to Aduka, and he's just jump-shotting everybody. What a menace. This man is making it work all the time. Map point and series point for Aster Army.
Match point.
The judge once again striking back in the action. And also a match point now in the hands of Aster Army secured. As I said, God's Reign fighting for their lifeline inside this game. The previous round was sort of broken bites for them, but now they're going to get their hands on the full loadout, but not a complete armor. Light shields bot. They've also got their hands on the showstopper and an orbital strike. That can be good ultimate to force off the opponents off of their comfort spots.
Exactly, and those are the 2 ultimates you need to clear out the Viper's Pit, which I'm sure Doxer will deploy towards Hookah. Oh, but it only is towards Hookah. He doesn't cover long as well. Last time he used it to cover both long and Hookah. So I guess he wants to put all his eggs in one basket. He knows that God's Reign have these massive killing ultimates, the showstopper and the orbital strike, so he just wants to invest it deeper into its Hookah so he has more room to play with. Folks, using the showstopper, getting inside, but he doesn't find anything. A reverse orbital strike is put down, but he still finds Doxer, and now the Viper's Pit is down, and so is Goalie. But hold on, the spike isn't anywhere close to the site. Marzel has control of the spike now, and with the neural depth, he might just be able to stop everything. Imagine having the site but not the spike. This whole round has collapsed.
Marzel's gonna give it away. I don't think so Marzel even had a clue that he has the spike control. Yeah, he didn't even peek out towards that entire side, or no, maybe he does, that he knows. Yeah, he knows that he has got the spike control, and what a shot! Marzel is looking to turn the tide into his team's favor, but God's Reign know that Marzel is on the opposite side, so B-side has to be the way to go. And that's where they're going to move on forward towards. Aduka is waiting for them towards the elbow area. As soon as he's going to spot anyone cross on forward, he's going to start a strike and sting like a scorpion, injecting all the venom into his opponent's veins as Aduka's gonna find the first contact, but not the kill just yet. Marzel, he's a man who's looking on a hunt. He's the man who's looking to take down anyone that stands against him. He's tasted the blood, and he's now looking to take apart anyone. But no is going to be the answer. He gets denied. We're going to OT.
God's Reign hold on to their lives by a hair's breadth. That was such an iffy round. I thought God's Reign had it in the bag as soon as they were able to blitzkrieg into the site. And then I realized, hold on, they don't have the spike with them. And I thought, sure, that's not really a problem, right? They've still got players down towards the link area who can recover the spike and get over there. But then Marzel killed them. And he had the time to reposition all the way towards the other side of cave. So that was the perfect disaster recipe. Somehow they missed a few ingredients, and here we are. It's overtime now. And that's the one good thing about overtime. You can't have an economic meltdown over here. It's the only good thing about overtime. Because both these teams were struggling with their economy in the last few stages, in the dying embers of that regulation phase.
Crips is the type of a guy when he knows that he's almost about to enter an accident, he still tries to find a positive approach to that.
Yep. Optimism is infectious. You need to spread as much of it as you can.
Yeah, I guess I'll give a +1 to that. But, yeah. God's Reign, though. Now that they're on the defending side, Aster Army on their attack, they've been quite a flawless team. We saw that in the first half. But still, God's Reign made sure that the first half is going to be quite a competitive one. And Aster Army so far, slow and steady approach, but not working out. And off angle being held by Autumn, it works out perfectly in his favor. And once again, he haven't even moved a muscle. He's still in that same spot, but Coley's gonna sniff him out. Duke has already found all the way deep inside the site, so that's good news. Site control taken away. Aster Army, nicely done.
These shorty kills are just so annoying. Aduka has so many shotgun frags this game, it's not even funny. I've lost count of it all. Crossfire between Kishi and Coley. This can be quite devastating. The flashes won't help them all that much, but wait, they do! Tix and Report blow their opponent's heads apart, and now it's all done to Aduka and Marzel once again. Playing cheekily around the smoke,
Oh my
Marzel
God.
gets them both!
What?
A massive spray down, and in one fell swoop, they take this round.
Bro, this guy's so good with the shotgun, man. Please teach me. He pulls out a shorty in a situation where he knows he can have the best chances to win that duel with a Vandal.
And the best part is he didn't even need to take that fight. He has no reason to go to its elbow except to maybe surprise his opponent.
Yeah,
They
just
easily
casually
could have
goes
just
through.
exactly right. They could have just easily taken control of long, played the post plants from outside the site, but no, they want to hold the crossfires within the site itself. It's a bit risky, but man, oh man, they say that fortune favors the bold, and Aster Army used that bold in a very, very loud way. The boldness palpable.
Yeah.
Fear. You can smell it.
Oh man, Aster Army. They're looking to take the duels, trying to get up close and personal right off the bat. The aggression was amped up from their side, and God's Reign so far, so good. Slow approach. Outside B, they've got Tix and Autumn. This deadly duo approaching from the same side of the map, so that's going to be a lot of firepower that you'll need to face. And Aster Army too, they're playing quite disciplined, not peeking out of their angles just yet. A good jump spot from Coley is going to give every single player's position away. Docs are way too low for comfort. He gets spammed so low. 34 HP left on over, but the regrowth is going to heal him back up. Nicely done, Aster Army. 3 players are up and alive on the B site, and no one's peeking out just yet. They're just waiting for the opponents to force themselves out, and as soon as they do, the kills are going to start to hit the body, and that's what exactly happens. She gets 2, and out of nowhere, you blink it and you miss it. Aster Army, they close it out, a 2-0 series, and God's Reign, they're left astonished.
The doors were shut in their faces. Aster Army were using both the Viper utility and the Brim smokes to place that area under a lockdown of sorts. God's Reign would have had to dive out of those smokes with no information to work with and very little flashes to make impact. They would have to just basically rely on blind fighting and burning ambition, which just simply cannot get them the traction they require. Aster Army 2-0 God's Reign and send them packing to the lower bracket.
Oh man, what does this team eat, man, for dinner? What do they have? Or did they even have dinner?
I don't know what they have, but I had anxiety all throughout. At least in the second half for sure.
Oh yeah, in the second half for sure, especially those clutch moments, man. Oh boy. But yeah, God's Reign, they faced that defeat, but for the Aster Army, they go through terror and fear to find that sweet relief. Once again, 2-0 against God's Reign. The last time they fought against in the group stage, it was a 2-1, but this time it's 2-0. Aster Army, they've definitely amped up themselves and their performance a little bit this time.
Exactly.
And considering God's Reign, you cannot even underestimate that team. That team has kicked out some of the top teams, not just in Split 1, even inside Split 2. They've gotten rid of Reckoning. But ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and move on to the interview.
आजा भाई आजा जल्दी है जल्दी ओके फर्स्ट अप कांग्रेचुलेशंस इधर आओ मैंने प्रॉमिस किया था मैं ये करूंगा भाई कमाल कर दिया यार तुमने तो यार तुम इस टीम में लास्ट एडिशन थे राइट आई मीन तुम आखिर में आए हो आईजीएल हो भाई जब एक आईजीएल होता है ना उसको ये देखना होता है कि उसके बाकी सारे जो खिलाड़ी हैं वो बिल्कुल ऑन द सेम पेज रहे हैं आप किसी को साथ लेके चलो किसी को बोल दो कि आप ऑटो पायलट पे जाएं हाउ इजी वाज इट टू अडैप्ट
ऑनेस्टली इट वाज अ लिटिल हार्ड ऑन द सेकंड मैप इसलिए ओवर टाइम तक गया बट फर्स्ट मैप पे वी जस्ट डिड व्हाट वी प्रैक्टिस जो भी बात किए थे हम लोग एंड इट वर्कड आउट वेल इन आवर फेवर सेकंड मैप वाज द मोर कम्पिटिटिव वन तो थोड़ा मुश्किल था एंड आई थिंक मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली इन दिस गेम जो रहता है सबका मूड कैसा है सब कैसे सोचते हैं राउंड के बारे यार हार गए यार एंड देन दे कैरी दैट फॉरवर्ड टू द नेक्स्ट राउंड वो होने नहीं देना है तो इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट मेनली आई थिंक टू कीप देम मोटिवेटेड एंड कीप देम पॉजिटिव एंड ऑप्टिमिस्टिक एंड एट नो पॉइंट डिड वी फील इवन व्हेन वी वर डाउन इन द स्कोर्स दैट वी माइट लूज दिस और व्हाटएवर माइट हैपन we just thought let's just play the best that we can and we're going to win no matter what.
मैंने देखो दूर नहीं रखना चाहता हूँ क्योंकि तेरी टीम वहाँ पे सेलिब्रेट कर रही है उनकी अलग पोस्ट मैच कॉन्वर्सेशन चल रही हैं ओके मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली इन लोगों ने फ्रैक्चर चूज किया था जो थोड़ा सा अनलाइकली लगा देयर वाज अ कंबाइंड लाइक गैस्प व्हेन दे चोज फ्रैक्चर बट ऐसा लगा कि तुम लोग ज्यादा प्रिपेयर्ड थे उसके लिए वर यू एक्सपेक्टिंग इट
it was a possibility that we were willing to let go that ले सकते हैं because they've seen our obviously even they have coaches who have done their homework और हमारा fracture last time that we played was very very bad. I think on that basis they might have picked fracture as well as they having some own secret worked in our favor.
भाई एक बात क्लियर कर दे IGL 2 है लेकिन तुम्हारी टीम को देखते हुए ना ऐसा लगता है कि कहीं कोहली लीड कर रहा है कहीं डॉक्टर लीड कर रहा है कहीं तू लीड कर रहा है तुम लोग ये इन गेम कैसे डिसाइड करते हो who leads?
Honestly, मैं लीड तो करता हूँ where I make most of the early round decisions, mid round decisions, but it's not like मैं किंग जैसा नहीं हूँ ऐसे हिटलर जैसा नहीं हूँ मैं कि मैं ही बोलूँगा वही चलेगा सब अपने आइडियाज़ देते हैं सबका अलग अलग रीड आता है और वो मुझे तो मदद करता है when I don't have some ideas and they provide some input तो अब आइडिया बैठ जाता है so sometimes when they have a very good idea about what to do in an anti-eco and an eco they speak up or when they're live and they have better info better positioning then they take charge we don't have like a system ऐसा कुछ नहीं है it's just जो बोलेगा वो जो पहले बंदा बोलता है let's just follow that and then if we mess up because of that we messed up if we win because of that all good everybody's happy.
All right listen final thing all titans slayed one titan remains Orangutan upper bracket final क्या कुछ कहना है उनको that's your camera give them that message.
You've been on the top for a very long time now it's time we put you down.
Put them down. Upper bracket final. It's Aster Army. That's decided. And they'll take on Orangutan. Time to take a break. Wapas lautenge jald. Don't go anywhere.
Hit for my wins. I need my hands. This life is real. Can't play pretend. Hit multiple wins. I get it in. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only family, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. We're known for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only family, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. We're known for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only family, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name.